Hey everybody, this is Zach with Realize the Market, and you're tuned in to the Think Realize the Market podcast. Our goal is to connect with entrepreneurs by providing a platform to help others through their experiences. Today, we're coming to you live from the Small Business Expo in Los Angeles. We've got two very special guests with us, Jonah and Jose with Kustom Life Co. So how are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good. Excited to meet all the business owners.
Yeah. How about you? How you doing?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed my time here. It's been great to meet all the small businesses that have been around. Great meeting all these connections. Super happy to be here.
For sure. So for the people listening, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you guys do.
Yeah, so basically we partner with other companies and we run their merchandise operations A to Z. So from the design and the concept all the way to the production and to post-production, having weekly meetings with our clients and optimizing their merchandise, optimizing their prices, just every single piece of the merchandise platform that people have in their businesses, we just try to optimize and make better.
How did you guys get started doing this?
I actually started this 7 years ago. I started with custom phone cases. I got into, it was retail, so I would sell one by one phone cases to people on Instagram. You know, I would put pictures of girls and their boyfriends on the back of phone cases and send it, and then I would send discount codes, email, text messages, all of that. And then I got into wholesale. So then I started realizing, oh man, I can make so much more money by selling 25 shirts at the same time, 50 shirts instead of one at a time, even though it's at a discounted rate. So then that ended up evolving into where we are right now. We have a couple of different brands. We're doing a little bit of e-commerce, a little bit of wholesale. Several of us in the company all come from UC Berkeley. And little by little, as we graduate, more people are hopping on the team. And it's just so cool to have an environment of like-minded, similar-aged people all on the same journey.
Right. That's awesome, man. And it sounds like you guys have a great community that you've built for yourselves. And I think that's such an important aspect to building a business, is having the right people and the right community around you to support that vision. But what I think is really interesting is you talk about you guys do e-commerce as well, but custom print marketing. And those are like two different worlds, you have print, you have digital. And with how digital the world is today, in your opinion, what is the value of print marketing?
Print marketing nowadays, if we're scrolling through social media, scrolling through our online platforms, you see the time usage of our phones, it's hours and hours a day. So you're being fed so much information, so many ads throughout the day. So then if you mix up the digital with the physical, where nowadays you're getting a lot less flyers in the mail, there's a lot less posters in your face, both are very important and you need both in the marketing mix. You cannot have one without the other. You can, but with limited results. But once you combine both, you maximize everything. So that's usually the best way to go.
And do you have an opinion on that yourself, Jonah?
Yeah, I was going to say that print marketing specifically, in addition to digital marketing is like a game changer. I mean, like when you look at a physical copy of something, say like you're reading a book, it's something that's tangible. I mean, like when you're looking at your phone, you can get eye fatigue, and you, after a while, can get sick of looking at that product or at your phone ultimately. But if you have both and you are seeing advertisements on both front from the same company, you look a lot more reputable, a lot more trustworthy, and people are more likely to buy into whatever you're doing.
I like that point of reputation, because it's hard to generate trust, I think, these days if you're only focused online, because so many people are trying to launch e-commerce businesses, and there's like so many weird gimmicky things that people do to try to generate trust with people that might turn people off to the whole idea of e-commerce in general. And I think using print services like you're saying is a really unique way to kind of do something that's more authentic and not so gimmicky, but it's something, as you mentioned, has been working for literal generations. So why reinvent the wheel, you know what I mean? Go back to what's working, and it seems like you guys have figured that out in a way that makes sense for you. And weaving that into like the digital world of e-commerce that you're also doing is really fascinating. So what other opportunities are you guys creating for yourselves in e-commerce?
Well, this is a little bit different, but the next venture that Jonah and I are getting into, along with several other people, is selling real estate internationally online. So we're basically doing the same thing that we do on the custom apparel services level, custom merch level. we reach out to the client, we service them along the way with the design, with the concept, with the prices, and they don't pay us a single dollar up until the point where they say, okay, everything's good to go. I like the design, I like the price, I like everything. Okay, let's go through with the project. So it's very, very similar to do that in real estate. So you can do that with e-commerce if you just change it up a little bit. So it's the same idea, right? If you look at the whole of what I just explained and you look at what I'm about to explain. So you have people, right? They're looking for a house, they're looking for investment, a vacation home or something like that. You need to service them, you need to show them different houses, you need to hear their budget, their requirements, what amenities they want. Do they want a pool? Do they want a gym? Do they want it in the city, on the beach? There's all of these things where you have to like hear out the client and really see what they need. So then afterwards, after they're happy, after they see everything, after they're happy with the unit that we chose for them, then that's when they pay. So then it's something very, very similar. So that's the next venture we're getting into. And like, we're really, really excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like exciting and something pretty unique. How would you plan on using Kustom Life Code to help kind of push this new e-commerce venture that you guys are going to? Can you give a real life example of how you can use print to help promote this venture?
Okay. Well, so I'll give you an example of exactly what we're doing. So we're creating thousands and thousands and thousands of flyers, right? So one of our segments that we really like to tackle is the Latin American population. So the Latin American population, it's interesting. To the digital world, they're kind of they're a unique case. They're difficult to tackle because they don't really look at emails. The conversions on emails, the conversions on text message, it's not great because they're not really so much into technology. Right? So then we send them a bunch of flyers in the heavily Latino populated areas, right? And because they don't like digital marketing, then we're going to give them what they like. Flyers, catalogs, we're going to hire people where they're already going at events to do what they like a spokesman going out to do contests and raffles with big banners and flyers. That's what Latinos like. They like the fiesta, they like things happening. And so we're going to use that in conjunction to using the digital space to advertise to their kids, to their other people around them that do use social media, through the Latin American radio networks, through the other platforms that already exist where the Latin Americans go. So they're going to be getting print marketing, but because they're already being exposed to all of these other places, we're going to partner up with those companies to digitally advertise to these people, because that's not our game. We don't really understand that. So
well, it definitely sounds like you guys know your target market really well, and
yeah.
that's really cool. So
Thanks, man.
How is this success measurable for print? How do you guys track and measure success when it comes to like print campaigns?
Okay, so I'm going to throw this back to Kustom Life Company.
Yes.
So what we do, we do a bunch of stuff.
Sorry about that.
What we do, how we actually bring it down to the numbers and to the actual business, right, is we work with the clients and we see what's selling. Like, this is the post-production. We see what's selling, we see what's not selling. They tell us, hey, this crew neck right here has not sold in the past couple months. Okay, are we going to change the color, the base color? Are we going to change the design? Are we going to change the garment? Are we going to change the price that it costs? Are we going to market it a little bit differently? Are we going to add a hang tag? Are we going to add a hem tag? All of these different little things that a normal person ordering merchandise or ordering merchandise to sell in their stores, they don't know these things. But it's kind of like this pin right here. It's supposed to separate you from everybody else that doesn't have a pin. So it's we try to utilize as many concepts of the best practices as we can within our own individual business.
So can you give me an example of a best practice of intertwining? I know I kind of asked this a little bit earlier, but I'm curious to know, like, from a data perspective, right? If you have a digital campaign that works really well, is that something that you would then decide, well, let's do a print campaign over this? Or if vice versa, if a print campaign you guys realize does really well, does that like prompt you guys to want to run digital campaigns around that? Or is it like, do you keep those separate?
Well, we utilize both, and Jonah here is actually our marketing guy in the company. He runs all of our ads. So maybe you can give a little bit of insight. But what I always tell Jonah is, hey, make sure that there's a flyer with whatever ad you're doing online. Make sure there's a flyer going in each person's order, because if they see it on their Instagram and they see it when they order their shirt, they're going to be much more likely to buy.
Yeah, it's that trust factor.
Exactly. So when you think about this, when it comes to it, I mean, say like we're selling on a digital platform. When people are purchasing from us, whenever they get their order, we like to pair that with a physical copy of our advertisement, if that makes sense, or with like free promotional items such as pins, pens, things of that matter. So when they see it, they're able to see our branding in multiple locations, so they associate whatever we're doing with a reputable company, if that makes sense.
Yeah, got you. So for anybody skeptical about investing in print to promote their business, like, what advice would you give to them?
Try it out. I mean, if you're running digital ad campaigns already, why don't you have to have the data in order to send these people print, right?
Yeah,
or you have to be
true.
in the right place, right? So as you start gathering up your data on HubSpot or whatever platform you're using, make sure it's as deep as possible, so that in the future, once you grow, once you're beyond only the digital, why is Yelp here? Why is AT&T here? Why are all these companies giving all these flyers, and why is everybody giving all this free stuff? It's because it matters. If you didn't have that and you only had the digital, then whoever does have the physical is gonna overtake you. It's gonna overshow you.
Well, I think you touched on an interesting point there about like deep consumer data, and what I think is really important about that is like personalization also helps that stand out. So if you're collecting data, make sure it's deep so that you can create uniquely personalized experiences for each individual that interacts with your company. That's, I mean, in my opinion, that's how you can start to create a community of people who really will support you and want to see you grow for years and years and years.
Yeah, and if you don't have the data, how are you going to market to them later on when you're big enough to spend millions of dollars? What, you're going to go back and try to get everybody's address, get everybody's email and phone number again? No. You got to start since the beginning, create a good foundation.
For sure, I totally agree. So what do you guys look for in a good fit to work with you? What type of companies would be a good fit for Kustom Life Co?
Companies that they have a heavy merchandise operation that is continuous. For example, retail stores. If you have several retail stores throughout the country, then you reach out to Kustom Life, and we will create a whole unique strategized plan specific to you and the goals that you're trying to get to. And so it's cool to do business with one-offs, one customer that only needs shirts once a year, but really our bread and butter is working with clients who we can talk to on a weekly basis.
Is there any particular industry you guys think is the best fit for print marketing, or is it kind of all-encompassing?
I think for sure different companies can use different types of marketings. You have to see where your audience is at. Kind of like what I talked about, the Latin American consumers. They're not online that much.
Which is a great example.
Exactly. So you just really got to look at who your people are and where you can find them.
Exactly. It's not like a one-size-fits-all approach. It's personalized to whoever you're marketing to. Like if, say, we're marketing to an older demographic of people, oftentimes what I've noticed is that they're not as impacted by their phones, if that makes sense. So they'll have a cell phone, but it doesn't really matter what pops up on there because they really only use it for like phone calls.
For sure.
So like having a print marketing ad given to them makes a bigger impact than it would on someone of a younger demographic, if that makes sense.
Right. I like that. So how would you guys break in to get the interest of a younger demographic for print? Because I feel like what you said is vice versa for the younger demographic. Like if I get a printer in the mail, I don't ever pay any mind to it. But I do stop on ads that I see online, or I click on emails. But as you said, not everybody reacts that way. But I feel like the younger generation is more primed to the digital side of things. So how would you get somebody excited about print as a young generation?
I mean, ultimately, like it comes back to the way that we are communicating with our clients. So ultimately, say we bring in a client and they came in from an ad that we've had, say through Instagram, and we are selling to them. What we'll do is we'll send them physical copies or like physical items of what we are marketing to them, if that makes sense. So that's the way that we bring interest in with them, but we don't start off with those products.
Right.
So because we're a service, they have to express interest first, fill out a form or something. Our average order is $800 to $1,000 on our college brand, right? So if that's the case, not everybody's gonna buy right away, or not. You have to service the client first. So what you can do, I mean, like what you can do is you can have them fill out a form. I'm basically explaining to you our whole business process. You create an ad, creates interest because it looks cool. They fill out a form. You reach out to them after they fill out the form. You tell them, hey, we got all these promotions going on. You want some free samples? Let me send you some free samples to your house. The free samples cost us maybe like a $15 plus time investment, right? So $15, $20, $25. Then the $25 makes it much more likely for that $800 to $1,000 order to go in.
For sure. I love it. Man, you guys definitely have a solid foundation that you've built for yourselves. And I mean, I love your passion. You guys are very purpose-driven, it seems. So for anybody interested in working with you guys, how can they find you?
Find us on Instagram at Kustom Life Co. with a K, at Fratty Bear like fraternity bear, kustomlifeco.com. Again, custom with a K.
For sure. All right. Well, do you guys have any last thoughts or finishing points you want to make?
Nah, man, I guess to all the business owners here and all the hustlers watching this, I mean, keep doing your thing no matter how hard it gets or no matter how impossible it seems. You can make it happen. The battle is all in your head. It's all in your head. And if you tell yourself, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm just going to keep moving, you eventually figure it out.
That's a fact. And what about you? Do you have any final thoughts?
I think surround yourself with the people that are going to help you propel yourself forward. If you have a lot of successful friends, you're going to end up being successful by just default of you being in their space, if that makes sense, because you compare yourself to them. You want to match what they're bringing to the table. So doing that will also help you succeed.
Beautiful. Well, thank you guys so much. I think that was a great conversation. And for anybody interested, reach out to Jose and Jonah at Kustom Life Co. kustomlifeco.com.
Kustomlifeco.com with the K.
With the K. Instagram at Kustom Life Co.
With the K.
All your print needs.
All your print needs. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, my man.